as we chit-chatted about what happens when you do care about humanity, you know how to love, you know how to be securely attached, let's continue with healthy self-worth, women, men, and days, and relationships. And so with one of Kylie Rackham, or Rackham, that's how I'm going to pronounce it, one of her videos I mentioned in another video on YouTube, and she mentions the romanticizing and demonizing of mental health, and how people, once they're in the presence of being in relationships with those who have disorders, they pretty much not get up and go, but that's where it was showing how hypocritical. And I totally know what she's talking about. I've heard of at least two people. One has borderline, and he was dropped like a hat by his fiance. Another getting out of usage of cocaine, and he was dropped by his wife. Okay, so two people, which is why till death do us part doesn't really mean anything if you ask a healthy, self-worth, empowered woman. And when I see the mantles of mental health, I notice that there's a bazillion people. They just make it look fancy and pretty, like, again, Kylie is mentioning. So here's what instead a healthy, self-worth, empowered woman can say. One, if you are taking your actual maladaptive and adaptive child behavior seriously, great, we'll know. Like when I see how Kylie does her videos. You can tell authenticity a mile away when you have a gut that is of a healthy, self-worth human being, which is why we don't act like crutches. So there's a difference when you find the love-dependent human beings, men, women, and theys, and those are the nice guys, nice gals. I've seen them. I still see them. Okay, I'm talking to people who are wanting to be in the expansion of their own consciousness is how I'm going to put it right now. I'm a 5D mystic. In the Enlightenment Soul Age group, there's no laundry here. It's called emotions, and you do brain stuff. You do mindset, left brain, right brain. Okay, so I'm going to start getting sloppy with that because the focus is, in this moment, how change comes for those who are open to their self, their prefrontal cortex. It's called, yes, I want to regulate my own nervous system. Yes, I will regulate my behavior. It's not to be a list that I give you like a teenager and say, now you must treat me how. No, none of that. So when somebody does that, we know how to handle. Pacha knows how to handle Cuscos. Well, I won't lecture you at all. I won't say anything. I'll know how to walk around your Cusco attitude because I ain't a crutch. I'm just walking around you because we're part of the same herd. Okay, with that being said, prefrontal communication is because you notice your tone, you notice your mannerisms, because you actually care about another person too. So you're not a lost compass. You notice if I have a self and another has a self, I'm going to be able to accept who I am and who another is. You don't know who you are if you did not get a proper diagnosis from a good therapist who lets you know how you can return home to your earned secure attachment and become a whole self. And that's going to empower you. See, Dr. Daniel Fox talks about it as insight. When you learn your surface content has to do with core content, which is always going to be shame. It's always going to go back to that 1-year-old and your 3-year-old. But the 1-year-old is the starting spot. So when you get back home and you get earned secure attachment, you're going to be good. It's a journey to get there. So you need to decide, do you want to? And people who resonate are going to keep listening, right? Because that's where we love and know that it isn't a small feat, a big feat. There's no need to romanticize or demonize. Grown-ups don't do storyland. That's for the pseudo-alive people who need mantles to feel good about themselves. And you'll notice that they don't really get home to their whole 3-year-old heart. They just keep talking in tongues, spiritual bypassers, mantles of mental health, mantles of yoga. And I see them. They have Venus as a goddess of the May, and they talk all about the universe and matrix in ways that I'm not going to. I'm a 5D mystic, as I said. So the matrix right now, for me, it's we support each other to get to our inner well-being. That's why relationships are important. So being generous of spirit doesn't mean I'm going to hang over your head your attitude when you're healing. No, because I'm going to understand, and I'm attachment trauma informed, that it takes time and your effort. So you are aware of your maladaptive child behavior and adaptive, and you're choosing to expand your window of tolerance, to learn how to lessen your reactivity, and to hear me and to present honest, straightforward conversation, slow and steady, of course, because you know how long it takes for your brain to slowly move towards integration. I'm attachment trauma informed. So as you begin the process of becoming aware, so use mindfulness and mindsight. Okay, I'll explain. So thank you, Daniel Siegel. I learned from him all this great stuff and other courses too. You cannot be at home within yourself if you cannot handle what comes up and know that love is all around, but that if you didn't have a child-centric environment, your body is not going to be at ease with this. And if you are paying attention, then you'll notice when you're overflowing, which means you're not going to say, let me project it. If you are serious about, you're going to say, I'm going to balance it. I'm going to gain clarity and organize, and I'm not going to have my dark side come out. I'm going to take the opportunity to talk about it. Hey, you know what? I want to talk about that mood, those mood swings, because I want to write my fate, and I want to become more adaptable, and I want to be in the land of forgiveness. Is when you can, again, forgive yourself and others consistently, which is what an inner child will want to be able to do. It's called kind intention, which is part of the mindfulness practices and mindsight. Why? Because you need to have kind intention to tell your body, hey, we're good, we're safe. This is number one, which feels uncomfortable to a person who didn't have a safe childhood. This is the point. So every time you're working against your 1-year-old, it's because you're trying to learn something that is not familiar. You're trying to navigate your limbic system and your emotional plane, which is scared like shit about people, relationships, and yourself, and get out of this refusal to call. The dream thief, okay, we're not going to use it as a dream thief, but the point is a person becomes first self-aware, self-accountable, and then they say, I want to self-regulate. And that's with their thoughts and their emotions, and not demonizing or romanticizing. And no matter what diagnosis is given, it's all healable. It's all manageable with the right people. And so when we're building healthy self-worth women, men, and days relationships, we don't drop you like a hat. No, we don't drop anyone. In fact, here's what happens. If you are a person who's doing the work like I see Kylie doing, and there's another person online that I also have noticed, because they're authentic and they're trying to support the community of people that have what they have. One is narcissism, and Kylie also had borderline, I believe, and she's been able to, I think she used the words remission. I don't know what that means, but I'm assuming she's pretty healed or pretty good with it, something like that. And then the other person instead is still working on borderline. And I forgot his name right now, but I've mentioned him. Okay, so when you're working on anything, at least a year, year and a half with a good therapist, not the bad ones. The bad ones are the ones who don't give you that way to integration. So what happens, thank you, Daniel Siegel, your brain, it learns to integrate as you build safety within your body, and you can hold those emotions that come up. You identify what's coming up, your triggers, all of it, and then you work with the thoughts. And you work with people who have patience and obviously love you unconditionally. And I say obviously, I know it's not easy. Believe me, I've seen it. Like I said, I got at least 2 human beings who told me about being dropped like a hat. And I'm like, wait, but one was going to marry you. The other was married. That sounds like they didn't know what they were promising in the first place. But then again, maybe they were not healed. You need to be able and have space to be able and present that heart, and that means healthy self-worth. So empowered women, men, and days, we don't take it personally because we have not the low self-esteem, okay? And it's here, not here. Here means I know it's not personal, and when I get enough information, so it takes about 3 to 4 weeks or 4 to 8 weeks for the integration, new neural receptors to start wiring together once integration is happening, and then for myelin to lay out, which means it's a process, okay? So the patience is on all ends of the spectrum, and you don't abandon a herd. Sid, Manny, Diego. So IHP, we're all pachas. Independently from where people come from, we're here to support the herd to get to their secure attachment. Why not? They can. There's no need to demonize anyone. In fact, there's Patrick McNamara. He's a neuroscientist. No demon after demonic possession. No, fear receptor goes wonky. And I know all about, again, disorganized attachment and DID, and I've seen people with their alters. And again, I don't go around those, hey, let me out, let me diagnose you. No, because they're not interested in themselves. In fact, they're interested in continuing to walk around like Pinocchios and ears, and they tell me how awesome everything is in life. I say, yes, I can see your reality is really interesting. Hangover, Mean Girls, movies. We don't do the movies. We do Let's Be People. We have one day tomorrow, hopefully, so every 24 hours. It's great so that we can share love with those who want to be at home within their self. So and steady wins the race. We don't drop our relationships because they need time to heal. We are not even considering that we're generous. We're considering it spirituality, a life of meaning and connection beyond the soul self. With sciences, it's called integration of brain, restorative embodiment. It's your mammalian heritage and it's mine. It's empowering, it's loving, it's kind, it's generous, it's all and beyond. So tune in, like, share, subscribe. Have a great day.